Hey everyone, welcome to another Painting with Jay. As always, my name is Jay. So grab a brush, grab some paints, grab a model, and paint along with me. Have a great time. Rid your world of unpainted models. Let's just paint the models galore, you know? Have a good time, paint together. No more unpainted models on the tabletop. Everyone's happy. Everyone wins. Yes. And we all know painted models roll better than unpainted ones. Ask any War Machine player. So, as always, I'll be working on some Dark Angels. For the next several weeks, I'll be working on Dark Angels. It's my goal is to paint up my entire Dark Angel army and make it all look nice and pretty again. This week, I'll be finishing up the Ravenwing. I'm on my last group of 5 Ravenwing, and I'm almost done them, actually. It's been going along quite nicely. So today, that's my goal, to finish them up and to make them look nice. And the next week, probably get on some Greenwing. So let's get started on this week's Painting with Jay. Hey everyone! So today we will be working on some Ravenwing awesomeness of the Ravenwing. And Rubik's going to try to ruin every take. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Today we're going to paint up some Ravenwing and work hard and get these guys done. Because then my Ravenwing are done. I have 15 Ravenwing all painted up. And I'll be happy. And then it's time to start some Greenwing. I have like 30 tactical marines to paint up over the next, week or so. Or a few weeks. Not week or so, sorry. Over the next indefinite amount of time. But I'd like to get them done probably by the end of maybe November. Have all my Dark Angels done. And looking good. I'm even going to go back and work on my Deathwing and get them all nice and pretty again. Because some of the basing's been coming off. But yeah, I want to get my Dark Angels in seriously done condition, and then figure out what to do after that. Yeah, the Addams Family. I don't know why, but I have the Addams Family song stuck in my head. I'm walking around the house going, they're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together, ooky. The Addams Family. Yeah, no more Addams Family. Let's try to stop that. So. What else? Let's talk about the week that's just transpired. It's been a crazy week since last Painting with Jay. My favorite thing was the Blue Jays. Because last week I was talking about how the Blue Jays are going to win. And, I didn't say that I thought they were going to sweep, but I thought that they were going to kick Texas's butt. And by the time the video aired, because I filmed it on Thursday, before the first game. No, was it Thursday? Wednesday. I filmed it on Wednesday before the first game. But it was Wednesday. But before I could air it, before I could edit the video and have it up to you all, the Blue Jays had lost Game 1 and Game 2 in Toronto, people. Well, that's pretty huge. Only weird statistics here, which statistics really shouldn't matter that much in baseball in these particular circumstances. But it's only happened twice in history where a team has lost both home games to start a series at a best of 5 and come back to win the series. So I was like, oh, maybe the Blue Jays aren't going to win. Maybe they're going to lose. And then people are like, oh, they're going to blow it. I don't think so. I honestly didn't think that they were going to get swept, but maybe they weren't going to win. I still think that they were the better team and whatever. But the weird side note, which I'm not justifying their loss or anything, but man, Game 2, the umpiring was probably the worst umpiring I've ever seen in a baseball game. Just consistently bad at the plate. Very, very bad. And the strike zone kept moving, and it throws off all the batters. And the best part, the reason why I know it was bad was both teams. Like, I'm a fan of the Blue Jays, but I have friends that are a fan of Texas Rangers. And they also thought the strike zone was really bad. So that's a good sign. So they won. We won the series, so it's awesome. So that's how much has transpired in a week since I've last filmed. Is they've had 5 games. Because I'm filming right now on a Friday, so it's technically been like 9 days since I last filmed my Painting with Jay, and they won. So Jays are in the next round, and today they face the Kansas City Royals for best of 7 series. And good to the Texas Rangers. They did well. They fought hard. And, man, did they blow it. And I'm so happy that the Jays came back. They became the 3rd team in history to lose both first 2 games at home and then come back and win the series. and the games were really good. Very few, some really good baseball happened over the last few days with the Jays. Some really weird baseball, and some really good baseball. The Game 5 was probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I'll talk about that after. So, I'm going to talk about baseball for a bit. Now, one of the weird things, now, many of you probably don't know about this, because I'm Canadian, obviously, and I live near Toronto. But, obviously, during the regular season, the Jays do their own thing, right? They have their own broadcasters. They have, the two guys that announce the games. They have their own style, right? And you know the announcers. However, when the playoffs begin, Major League Baseball steps in. And they control everything to a T. It's their filming, their graphics, their everything, their announcers. They set the schedule. Major League Baseball even determines, for those who don't know, the Rogers Center used to be called the Sky Dome, but the Rogers Center has a dome, right? It has a dome that can open and close. And it's actually Major League Baseball who decides if the dome will be open that day, not the Rogers Center. So, interesting stuff there. So I've been watching Jays games, but the Jays games have been in the style of like a New York Yankees game, because they have the Yankees announcers, and so it's been really interesting, because I'm used to the same voices, Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler, and then all of a sudden I'm watching the whole season, and then all of a sudden it's all these guys from the States. And I don't mind the guys in the States. They're good announcers and they know baseball really well, but what they don't know is when you're announcing for a different team, what really kind of bugged Canadian fans a lot was, they didn't know how to pronounce a lot of the names of the players. So they kept pronouncing like Edwin Encarnacion wrong, or Jose Bautista, Dioner Navarro, right? Like, they're names that the Jays fans would know, but the announcers didn't know how to pronounce their names. I think they should have learned it ahead of time, because obviously they're professionals, right? And the same thing, and also there was a comment, which I really didn't take that much offense to, but it was really weird. One of the announcers the other day in Game 3 said he was talking to someone from the Rogers Center, and I don't know who would actually say this from the Rogers Center, but apparently he was talking to someone, and they felt that the Canadian fans didn't know how to catch foul balls, so we're frequently getting hit in the head by foul balls, because in Canada, he actually says this, in Canada, we all grew up playing hockey, and no one grew up playing baseball. And a lot of us were like, no, that's not even close to being correct here. That's not right. A lot of us play baseball. Like, I grew up playing baseball. I played baseball for, 15 years. I didn't play hockey just because I'm Canadian. And then the announcer got a lot of flack for it, and rather than apologizing, he kind of did a half apology. He was like, well, I was kind of joking, but I kind of wasn't, and it's true. And he's like, I'm not denying. He goes, and he actually said, he's like, I'm not taking back the fact that all you Canadians grew up playing playing hockey instead of baseball. And we were like, we didn't. Like, that's really, like, there's a lot of really good hockey players, but first of all, playing baseball and hockey are two very different things. You could play both. Many people did. In fact, several very, very good baseball and hockey players played both because of Grant Fuhr, one of the greatest goalies of all time, was actually drafted by a professional baseball team as a catcher. There's a lot of intersection. And a lot of baseball players think that they could have been hockey players in Canada, and a lot of hockey players think they could have done baseball because they're athletic people. So, for the record, not all Canadians. I've never played hockey. And I grew up playing baseball. And it also depends on where you live, but baseball is very common in a lot of places in Canada. Obviously not like the North End, where there's not much summer, but definitely. Like, it was a really weird comment. But whatever, it happens. I'm not too offended. It was kind of silly. But I was kind of like, what are you talking about, guy? People know how to catch foul balls in Canada. And in the Game 5, there was a lot of really fun stuff. Like, there was the weirdest play. Now, to be fair, the play ended up against the Jays, but, as I said, I'm a very fair individual. The play was called correctly. The umpires, they originally called it wrong, and then they corrected themselves. And in the end, the correct call stood. I must say that ahead of time, because it was against the Jays, but it was correct. And the umpires did a very good job of umpiring in Game 5. So what happened was, as you know, in baseball, the pitcher pitches to the catcher. Catcher then throws the ball back to the pitcher, right? What happened was Russell Martin got the ball thrown to him by Aaron Sanchez and was throwing the ball back to the pitcher, Aaron Sanchez, and the ball accidentally hit the batter, Shin-Soo Choo of the Texas Rangers. It hit his bat and rolled down the third baseline. It was one of the weirdest plays I've ever seen because it was completely by accident. It was between pitches, and it hit his bat and rolled. The Texas Rangers at the time had a runner. His name is Odor. Ridmond Odor. No. Ridmond Odor. And Odor ran home and scored. And people were like, what just happened? Now, the umpires originally called it a dead ball. And so Odor didn't score because it was such a weird play. However, the rules actually do clearly state that the ball is live. As long as the batter did not intentionally. If the batter intentionally got in the way of the ball, the batter is actually out for interference. It's the same thing if a runner touches a baseball. That, like, if I'm running between second and third and the baseball hits me, I'm out because that's interference. But it's the same thing. So, but Shin-Soo Choo did not, and I said I'm a very fair individual in this case because Shin-Soo Choo, the batter for the Texas Rangers, did not intentionally do it. It was complete. He wasn't even looking at them at the time. It was completely by accident. Russell Martin's fault, and he was stretching at the same time. It was just perfect. You know, I've never seen anything like this in baseball. So he was not intentionally blocking, so he shouldn't have been out, and the ball was live, meaning that Odor did get the right to score. And so that's how. So in the 7th inning, Texas went up 3-2, and it was the go-ahead run, and they went up 3-2 on this weird play. Now, to be fair, as I said, the umpires did get it right, and Odor should have scored. But imagine if the Jays lost. They came back 2 games. They won 2 straight games to force a Game 5, and then lose Game 5 due to a ball accidentally hitting a batter and rolling. Sorry, the dogs are playing near me. I think you can hear them play. But, yeah, it would have been so weird. And no one wanted the game to end that way. Actually, Texas wouldn't have minded, I'm guessing, because then they won. Yeah, so Texas could have actually won, but then the Jays won. We hit several runs. But then the next bottom... The problem was I was not happy with this. Because, what I'm about to say, the fans at the Rogers Center were so energized that, I hate to say un-Canadian-like, but it was really not cool what they did. They started throwing cans and bottles onto the field, which is dangerous, right? It's not good for the players, and what's even worse is most of them were missing because it's hard to throw a can and aim it perfectly, right? So, like, several little kids got hit in the stands with baseballs, and that is not cool. You don't bring your kid to a baseball game to have them get hit in the head with a can because, you know, that's not cool. So the players, what I did respect was the players from both teams quickly tried to defuse the situation. You know, especially the Torontonians, because the Toronto Blue Jay players, because they knew that the Torontonians would listen to them. And several of them rushed out on the field and was like, no, you do not throw cans on the field. You do not throw cans at other people. That is not cool. And eventually they stopped, and that was good. I was really disappointed, though, in how the fans reacted. And I understand why, because they were very heated, expensive tickets, wanting the Blue Jays to win, very, you know, atmospheric, but don't do that. That's not cool. You don't want to hurt people at a Jays game, right? Everyone wants to have a good time and be safe. No one wants to be hit with stuff. So I don't like that. That was not cool. But, yeah, it was nothing like the Vancouver riots or something like that. That would, you know, very different story. So that's done. Now I'll work on the Reds. Let's get the Reds going. I'm just going to finish up the Reds, have them done, and then black areas, and yeah, these guys are good. Excellent. This is going to be a good week. So yeah, Jays won, and I'm stupidly happy about that. I'm really happy the Jays won, and now I get to talk about it for another week. Maybe next... See, the thing is, the seasons happen so fast that by the time I talk next week to you all, this series might actually be over. You know, if the Jays sweep or get swept, I think the 5 games will happen between now and next Painting with Jay. So that's a lot of stuff that could happen. But yeah, that's the one sport I'm really passionate about is baseball. And I was very disappointed to see how the Canadians acted. And obviously some of them were American as well. Not all of them were Canadian, but a good chunk, I'm guessing, of them, if not most of them should have been Torontonians. And I understand why their frustration, but you should never throw stuff from the level 5. They're throwing it from the nosebleed section, trying to aim for the field and hitting people. You know, that's just not cool. Not cool, dudes. Jay says that's not cool. You know? So, but I'm happy they won. And now we're going up against Kansas City, who there's a lot of bad... I'm curious to see what happens tonight in the game, because there's a lot of bad blood between the... Kansas City Royals are kind of the team that everyone hates now. They've kind of replaced the Yankees. Because, A, they do a lot of stupid stuff, and they have a pitcher that has a really stupid throwing pattern. And they like to throw at people's heads. They kind of... Kansas City Royals were a team. This year, they've been... The league is slowly cracking down on certain behaviors that it makes... They're trying to make a safer environment for the players, and I completely respect that. Because, like, one of the things they're cutting down on this year was the last year and this year, the sliding... Sorry, you have to slide if you're going for home plate. You can't... No more contact plays at home plate. Right? If the catcher doesn't have the ball, they cannot block the lane. And if the catcher has the ball, you have to slide, basically. You cannot try to knock the ball out of the catcher's hands, because that was creating a lot of injuries. And now they're going to slowly do that for second base as well. Because lately this year there have been a lot of second base injuries as well, where people slide into the second baseman cheaply and hurt them. So none of that crap. But, no. Right? And... This year, what they decided to do was they've changed the rules recently with if they think a ball is intentionally thrown at another player, instead of kicking out that pitcher now, they give a warning to both teams. A lot of times it's to both teams at the same time. So the first team who beans the opponent actually gets off scot-free because they get off with a warning. And if the opposing team retaliates, the opposing team's pitcher and their manager get kicked out of the game. So the Kansas City Royals have done this the most times this year, and what's making them a really hated team is knowing that rule. What they do is they go ahead and cheap shot an opponent, usually the best batter on the opponent's team, and they cheap shot him and try to hit him in the head, and they hit him in the head or the body, and they hurt him. And then Kansas City just gets a warning, and then they try to dub a retaliation throw, because then if the opponent team tries to retaliate, they're the ones who get kicked out of the game for doing the same behavior that Kansas City did intentionally. Or what happens a lot is that this happened with the Jays. Aaron Sanchez accidentally, and I go to complete defense of this. I think it was an accident. I don't think it was intentional at all. Accidentally hit one of their players after one of these warnings and got kicked out of the game. It was not intentional. A ball got away from him. And because the count was like 0-2, and you don't intentionally hit a batter in an 0-2 count. You hit a batter in like a 2-0 count when the odds are they're going to walk. You would never intentionally hit a batter if you're about to strike him out 10 in an inning and to win a game. It just doesn't make any sense. And they threw out Aaron Sanchez and they kicked out John Gibbons. And it was unfair because he did not deserve that. And that's what Kansas City plays. It's a really dirty play style. And I don't respect that. You know, I don't like the saying. There's some people say if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I don't like that. I like to play fair. I'm a fair player. And I really, no matter what I do, I like to play fair. You know, I don't like to cheat. In none of my battle reports do I ever cheat. If I break a rule by accident, it's completely unintentional. I don't ever cheat to, you know, none of my dice rolls are rigged. None of my cards are rigged. Nothing. If I lose, it's fair. If I win, it's fair. And that's the way that Jay plays, you know. Yeah. Though I really did love that one video that Dave from Mini Wargaming made that I was a part of about how to cheat a 40K. That was kind of just funny. That was a really funny video. And really fun to film. So, that's a different story. Cool. These guys are coming along really well. Look at them. They're good. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Well, that's drying. I'll work on the black areas. Yeah. I'm only 20 minutes in, and these guys are... Oh, I should finish up the eyes. That's what I should do. I should finish up the eyes of the guys first. So right now I'm just going to put some Evil Sun Scarlet and then Wild Red into their eye and then the white dot in the corner. For those of you asking at home. Or people like Stu, wondering what I'm painting or using. What else happened in the last week? So Jay's won. That was good. That was 2 nights ago. Oh, Thanksgiving was on Monday. So I had a good day. I took the day off, obviously. I wanted to spend the day with my family, and that's what I did. I spent it with my wife and a friend. And just had a good time, relaxing. I needed a day off, to be honest. I work too much sometimes. And having a nice day off was nice. I made turkey dinner, and it was really good. I make good turkey. I do. I take the Paula Deen approach when I make turkey. When in doubt, add butter. Butter makes things better. It really does. My turkey's really good and really moist, so... I know my mother-in-law will not be watching this, but I definitely make better turkey than her. I will say that. My turkey's not dry. So, I make good turkey. It was really good. I love turkey. And what I love about Thanksgiving is that, for the meal, is... I'm going to just adjust the camera here because it seems a little off right now with the angle. There we go. I maybe zoomed in a little more. What I love about Thanksgiving meals is that, like, after Thanksgiving, you get a week worth of Thanksgiving meals. I love it. So today's Friday, but we kind of ran out last night. So for 3 more days, I got to eat turkey. I love turkey. I love the Thanksgiving meat, turkey and stuffing and all that stuff. So it was really good. I love the leftovers. I love leftovers, especially with Thanksgiving. It's just awesome, you know. So I was really happy to have Thanksgiving dinner like multiple times. That was fun this week. And it's always nice to just take a day off and relax and to think about what you're, you know, these themed holidays are good in the sense that I love to just think about what I'm thankful for. Like I did last week during my painting with Jay. And to reflect on what you're thankful for. And to actually be grateful for these kind of things. You know? Yeah. So right now I'm just adding a little bit of Evil Sun Scarlet into the eye. Not Evil Sun Scarlet, Wild Red, sorry. And then I will put a white dot in the corner. Just a quick, you know, multicolored eye effect, not much. Yeah, it was good. So I hope you all had a safe week as well. Obviously most of you aren't Canadian, so most of you didn't have Thanksgiving on the weekend, but yeah. What else is new and exciting? Not a whole lot. Just working, you know, doing stuff. Got some stuff in the mail. That's always good. Yeah. Oh, what else I want? Oh yeah, this week pandas were born at the Toronto Zoo. Now I don't know whatever your views are on captivity and stuff, but there's certain animals that are just hilarious, and one of them are the pandas, because you gotta wonder how pandas are still existent these days. Now I know that we demolish their forests and stuff. Pandas are like the laziest animal on earth, but I love them. They're just cute and fluffy and chubby and awesome. But the Toronto Zoo actually, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago in my painting with Jay, the pandas are so fat. Like, this sounds like a "you're so fat" joke, but it's really true. They're so fat that by the time that vets figure out they're pregnant via ultrasounding, they're actually almost due. So it's usually like 10 days between when vets figure out that they're pregnant to when they actually have a baby. And they're so fat that they don't even know how long their gestation period is. And I keep up with a lot of zoo stuff because obviously I used to be a zookeeper and stuff, but So the Toronto Zoo actually had 2, so one day I would love to go see them. I bet they're going to be really cute. And hopefully they both survive. They're twins, though. Twins are not common. Twins are not natural with panda populations. Unfortunately, if a panda gives birth to twins in the wild, it usually lets one die because they take care of one. So what the Toronto Zoo has to do from now on is alternate them indefinitely between the mother for a while they're feeding, so that they both pair bond with the mother, but they both get nourishment, so then the other one will be hand-raised, and they'll just alternate like that for indefinitely. By the way, people, commercial time. Here is this week's painting tutorial for the warp. It is a Calidus Assassin, I'm pretty sure? Everstore Assassin? What are the assassins? I should really learn before I do the commercial. It is a Everstore, I think? Calidus. Oops. Calidus Assassin. So the Calidus Assassin is this week's painting tutorial for the warp. So everyone go check out the warp. I think you'll love it. She turned out awesome. I'm really proud of how she turned out. She was fun as the old metal one. But yeah, definitely go check it out. Also, as I said, so please, if you want to help support my videos, go check out the Warp or my Patreon campaign. Both of them are in the link in the description below, and that will help fund more J videos in the future. Basically, it'll make my videos happen, right? Now it's time to go over some grays, and I think that's basically it. Oh, maybe I'll do the shade of the brown area. So I'm just gonna take a Rakelin Flash Shade quickly and apply it to the gun holsters. Can't believe then these guys are done. I have 15 painted Ravenwing. That's awesome. 15 painted Ravenwing for battle reports. Then I won't be like, hey, they're prime black. That counts for Ravenwing. No, they'll actually be painted. Painted and based, looking good. So I should definitely try to use these guys in my next battle report, if possible. Already done. Perfect. Now I'll use some Administratum Gray to do the edge highlighting. And clean up color, and yeah. They're pretty much done. And then I'm going to airbrush later. The reason why I'm not doing the plasma guns right now is I want to do just a quick airbrush, get some glow effect on it with an airbrush, make them look cool. That'll be good. So I'll do that after after I'm done filming here. Yeah. What else is new? Yeah, pandas. So that'll be cool. I can't wait to go see them. So hopefully both survive and do well. They're both alive to this day, I think, so far. And I'm excited. It's good to see, like, there's a lot of rules. When China lends you a panda, there are so many rules you have to follow. And the interesting rules are, like, regardless of where they're born, China gets to name them. They already have, like, names lined up, usually ahead of time. So that's one of them. And then it costs you a certain amount of money per panda, right? Like an adult panda is a certain amount of money. But if they have a baby, it goes up by like 80%. A baby is worth like 2 times an adult. So they have to pay, now that the Toronto Zoo actually had 2, and if both actually survive, the Toronto Zoo is going to have to pay a lot of money for the next couple of years. And then it's a 5-year deal, and then afterward they go to... not the Vancouver Zoo. Alberta Zoo? I forget what. Calgary Zoo. Calgary Zoo. They go to the Calgary Zoo after that, and that'll be really expensive for them, because then they have 4 pandas they have to pay for, and they have to pay for the younger ones, and the younger ones are more expensive, way more expensive than the adult ones. So that's cool. It's going to bring a lot of good business to the... Oh, I didn't paint that one. Oops. I just made a... I realized I didn't paint this purity seal right there. It'll bring a lot of good business to the Toronto Zoo. I'm definitely going to go see them. I want to see panda babies. They're going to be adorable. So. Can't wait to go see the panda babies. But that'll be a while. They're not going to be out for a while. So I just realized I missed a spot, so I'm going to go back and paint those areas. I hate missing spots, so when I miss a color, I will just go back quickly and get them done. Yeah, so panda babies. I'm going to call this one Fandemonium and Panda-monium. Yeah! What else? Oh, the election's coming up. Obviously, I've been talking about that for a couple weeks. So right now I'm just going back with the Ushabti bone to paint the purity seal on the hand that I missed. I didn't realize that it was there. And elections coming up. People have already may have voted in Canada because there's already polls, like not polls, pre-election voting. You mean the early voting, whatever it's called. That's cool. I'll vote. I always vote. And I know who I'm voting for. I'm not going to go into that much detail of who I'm voting for or why or anything. I'm not going to go into like that kind of politics. But the thing is about Canadian politics that the way that the system works is kind of, I wouldn't say annoying or anything, but it's confusing in the sense that who should you vote for is determined by a lot of factors. The problem is, technically you don't vote for, like, the leader of the party is Stephen Harper, but you don't vote for Stephen Harper. You simply vote for whoever the candidate is in the local area, called the MP, Member of Parliament, right? In a local, I'm teaching us about Canadian politics, this is good. So in Peterborough, there's a candidate for the Conservative Party, for the Liberal Party, for the NDP, for probably like the Canadian National Communist Party, the Green Party, the Utilitarian Party, blah, 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 right? And you vote for whichever party you want. And whichever party wins that area, or which candidate gets the most votes in that area, wins the riding. They become the Member of Parliament for that riding. And then, once you tabulate all the number of seats, the party that gets the most seats wins, and then the leader of that party becomes the Prime Minister, typically. So you're not really voting for Stephen Harper. You're not really voting for Justin Trudeau or Montclair. You're technically supposed to vote for the local guy or the party, right? Not for the. And then that's the question: do you vote for the local person? Because sometimes the party who is in charge may not have the best representative in your area, and this happened last election, which I'll go over in a moment. And people voting for the party rather than the person itself got really burned. So do you vote for the best local representative? Like, let's say it's a girl named Joe, or a guy named Joe. And if Joe is the best representative for your area, like he'll do the best work, and he'll be the best representative for your area, shouldn't you vote for Joe regardless of what party he represents? Because he'll be the best person for your area? Most of the time, that's not the case. People vote for Joe because they know Joe, or they like Joe's party, or they like Joe's leader. And that's why they vote for Joe. Not for if Joe is going to be the best representative for that area. And I don't know what level, I don't know. Like, each person can vote for their own reasoning, and no reasoning is technically better than the others. But you get burned in that case, because then sometimes you vote for the party, and then you end up with a really terrible representative in your area, but who represents the party you like. So which one's better, Or a good representative in your area that represents a party you don't like. That may not be optimal either. This happened last election, I think it was last election, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was last election. People in Quebec typically vote for the Bloc Québécois if you are a French Canadian. The Bloc Québécois are kind of the go-to party because they represent Quebec and French people, basically. They're they're basically the French person party. Right? They only represent Quebec, the Bloc Québécois. Last election, a lot of people in Quebec got really fed up with the Bloc Québécois and really wanted to try out the NDP. So a lot of ridings all of a sudden elected these giant amounts of NDP people. The only problem was the NDP, thinking that they were going to lose those particular ridings because it's the French ridings, intentionally didn't really care about their representatives in those areas. Basically, they put like 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds who weren't really good politicians or anything, and weren't very qualified in those ridings because they naturally wrote off those ridings. They didn't think that they were going to win them. So they had French-Canadian names. Some of them had never even been to their own riding, because you can actually represent a riding that you don't live in. So several people were living in Ottawa were actually Anglophones. Some of them didn't even speak French, and won French seats in Quebec because people just voted for the NDP without even realizing that these people had never even been there before. And so that was a little funny. So all of a sudden in Quebec, there were all these NDP representatives who were like 18, 20, had no experience, no qualifications. And as I said, 2 or 3 of them had never even been to their area. And they had to move to that area in Quebec just so they can work their own job. And that's kind of the downside of voting for a party as opposed to a local candidate. Because if they only voted for a local candidate, they may have realized that these people were not local and were not qualified. But, yeah. So, voting time. I'm going to vote. That's it. Regardless of what party you vote for, I'm not judging. Right? We all have the right to vote for our own people. I'm not going to too much politics, as I said. Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm going to the how politics work in Canada. And then, unfortunately, because we have a multiple party system, you run a high risk in a lot of the times, and this has happened many times in the course of history, especially lately, of a minority government. Because what if a party represents a third of the population, and every other party represents less than a third of the population? You get a prime minister who, it's expected right now that whoever wins this election is going to represent probably about 30%. Maybe as high as 35. Less than 40, though, percent of the population, because of multiple parties. And the problem is all 3 parties, the big 3, NDP, Liberals, and the Conservatives, they all are going to get about a third. And it's going to end up being like 35, 31, 26. And so the leader of Canada will actually represent a drastic minority of the population. And then what ends up happening is over the next 3 years, usually it's like 3 years because it's not going to go the full term, nothing gets done. Because no one will let the party do anything. They'll probably count a couple votes. Like, they can't throw a vote in no confidence because the parties are aware that voters don't like to vote every year. You know, a lot of money's blown on these silly elections and the terrible advertising. And Canadians don't want an election every year, right? That's a waste of time and money. So they have to keep the government happy for a while. Or they have to keep the government going for a while, you know. Yeah. And the next thing I want to talk about, I hate ads. I hate them. I hate them with such a passion. They're my least favorite commercials on TV are hate ads or, you know, anti-ads for a party candidate. I know every country has them, but oh my goodness, they're stupid. So stupid, stupid, stupid. And in Canada, the dumbest ones go to the Conservative Party. They had a campaign. Now, it won't make me prevent myself. Like, I wouldn't not vote for the Conservatives, or I wouldn't not vote for anybody based on a stupid commercial. But no way did the commercial deter me from voting for Liberal, and no way did it make me want to vote Conservative more. But I just, you know, I'm not saying which party I'm going for, obviously, but it was just stupid. There was a campaign where they were like, Justin Trudeau, he's not ready. Nice hair though. And I was like, how stupid of a commercial if you're like, he has nice hair. Like, what kind of backhanded compliment is that? How immature of a response, you know? Like, bringing it down to, like, mocking his hair or his appearance. Yeah, he's a quasi-good-looking guy. People say that, you know? But it's just immature and childish. Talk about his experience, that one makes sense. You know, about his views and his politics, okay, that's fair game. But his hair, that's just stupid, and it doesn't make me respect a party anymore when they're like, nice hair, by the way, Justin. Like, it's silly. It's very unprofessional, right? The appearance of a candidate should not be taken into consideration when voting for that candidate. Silly, 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 silly. So, another fun way that I know I've had friends who voted, they just go to the voting polls and vote whoever has the coolest name. That happens sometimes. Some people I know like to throw the small party candidates some numbers. Like, they'll be like, vote for the National Communist Party. Not because they support the National Communist Party, but just because they want the candidate to get a few votes and be happy. They're like, hey, I got 40 votes. I did a good job, you know? So, there's tons of reasons to vote for your candidate, but I don't know. Importance is voting. I'm going to go vote. Yeah. That's the end of my talk about Canadian politics. Nice hair, though. Like, what? Silly. I had a great weekend. I also should talk about this. My homies, Mike and Cody Rue, came and visited me, and we filmed a great battle report. It'll be up eventually. It's a 2-on-2 battle report. Orcs and Orcs versus Orcs and Blood Angels. Great time. And it was always great. I like to see Mike and Cody Rue, and they brought a friend over named Brent. Brent was a good guy. He likes Jar Jar Binks. I'm not going to like him for that reason, but he was a good guy. So we had a great time. And as I said, it's always great to see Cody Rue, see how he's doing, catch up with him. He doesn't get to come to Canada very often, so... So Cody Rue, if you're watching, I had a great time filming with you. It was a lot of fun. So right now I'm just taking some gray liner, and I'm just going to clean up the lines quickly, make everything look nice and pretty. This is kind of my cleanup color, as I call it, where I intentionally just... If I'm painting something really quickly, I'll take the color at the end, especially a dark. If I have access to a dark color at the end, I'll use that as a way of cleaning up the rest of the paint job, and then that way, it just looks nice. And I can paint relatively quick. I don't do this for my commissions. It's only for my personal stuff, because I always I treat my commissions with a lot more respect. But yeah, it was a really awesome time. I was really looking forward to it, and I had a great time. So it was a lot of fun. The battle report is very long. It might be a two-parter. Very long battle report. Because we played 2,000 points. And, oh yeah, it just took a long time. But it was a great time. Yeah, we had a great time. Talked about life. Love, the pursuit of happiness. Yeah, great time. Yeah, can't believe the year's almost over. We're in October already. It's crazy. Crazy. I can't believe it. It's been a good year. Really busy. Of course, I'll keep talking about for the next 2 months, of course. It's been a great year, but yeah. That's what I'd say. It's been a good year so far. I can't wait to keep working hard and getting more done. By the end of this year, I'll have no more Dark Angels to paint. It's going to be awesome. I can't believe how much painting I've done. I hope you all out there in painting land have gotten as much painting done as I have. So people keep buying the shirts. Obviously, everyone go check out my shirt store. If you want to buy a shirt, support the videos. It's all good. Another one done. There we go. He's done. Yeah. So I'm going to keep working on gray liner for a few more minutes. We're at 45 minutes about in the video. These paint with J's, I sit down and I talk and it feels good. It's very, as I said, it's very therapeutic. You are basically my therapist, and I don't need to pay like $40 an hour. And I get to just rant and I paint. And it's nice to set some time away from the world and just paint for fun, not for making videos. I know I'm making a video while doing it, but it's not for tutorials, it's not for commissions. I can just relax and paint, have a good time. And I know that you all, like all the hardcore painting with J people out there, are enjoying it just as much as I am, because they find the same thing. You just set aside an hour of your time, and the amount of work you can get done just is mind-boggling. And it really breaks down the barriers and makes you think, like, when you have so many models to paint, it can get overwhelming. It really can. And I feel the same thing sometimes. There are some models I'm like, I don't want to touch that model right now. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of models. And then these painting with J's have greatly knocked that down, those barriers. And now I'm excited. I look at how much work I get done, and I'm like, oh wow. The last 3 weeks I've painted up 15 Ravenwing. So that's an average of half. Obviously, I'm not just finishing at those guys because I painted tutorial models and a couple other things, but if I only painting with Jay and I finished 15 models in a month, that's a model every 2 days, 180 models a year. That's nice. That's substantial. And that's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. Unless you're painting orc boys, then that's half your army. But still, and this year has been that year. I painted a lot of Tyranids, mostly Tyranids, but I've gotten a good amount of Space Marines. I have like 2,500 points of painted vanilla Marines now. And then after this, after these weeks, I'm going to have several thousand points of painted Dark Angels. Not just painted Ravenwing, painted Deathwing. And then after that, I don't know. I think I might go back to Necrons and get my Necrons back off the ground and have them all nice, because while I was in, I got a really awesome gift from a really good guy, my homie Josh. He was in my vlog for Gen Con, he gave me a gift, and he got me the some Necron, what are they called? Guys are really hard to get. Necron guys. Fireblades? No. Tomb Raiders? No. Tomb Blades. Tomb Blades, there we go. Tomb Raiders. That's what they're called. So I'm going to work on them, getting my lists good, my Takurian detachment. So maybe I'll do Necrons next. I'm still thinking about it. Maybe return back to vanilla, finish up some vanilla. Not Tyranids. I did enough Tyranids for a while, so I'll return to Tyranids in the near future, but not Tyranids next month, or at least the month after this. That I'm done. I'm gonna finish Dark Angels. That's my goal. Finish Dark Angels entirely, and then think about the next army. Next army I'm working on, not buying and stuff. But look at all the Ravenwing. They all look good. I think I'm actually done. This is good. And I can't finish these guys, unfortunately, in this week's video because I'm going to have to airbrush them. But it's okay. We're at 50 minutes right now anyway, right? So, man, they look good. These are definitely tabletop or battle report worthy. There's a solid tabletop appearance. Yeah. Make sure they all look good. Forgot to trim around the eyes. Good. Good stuff. Look at them. They're basically done. Good stuff. Excellent. So I'm probably going to end here because I kind of ran out of stuff to paint. I didn't think I was going to finish these. Oh, I can do Agrax Earthshade on these, and then I'll finish them. Then I'll call it a day. Yeah, Agrax Earthshade. I didn't think I was actually going to finish them up to this point in this time. And look at it. You surprise yourself by how much you get done. I usually use these guys as either plasma or I count them as grav. For Wizard Week. It's okay. Yeah. So I had a really good weekend. It was a good weekend. Sunday I just got to spend the whole day with Cody Rue and Mike and Brent. And then Monday, a whole day with my wife and a friend. And we just had Thanksgiving dinner, which was awesome. Good weekend. I worked hard Saturday. It's all good. That's it. So let's call it there. So that concludes another Painting with Jay. I really hope you got a lot of stuff done. Sorry I called it early, but I finished my goal. That's what you gotta do. I don't have any backup plans to work on today, unfortunately. I'm gonna base them after, especially. I don't want to base them before airbrushing. So it's all good. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got just as much done as I did today. Maybe on time, maybe early as I did too. But most importantly, thank you. I hope you had a good week. Watch the Jays versus Kansas City game. I think you'll enjoy it, regardless who wins. Baseball's good. Canadians play baseball. Pandas are cool. And Canadian politics, yeah, could be good sometimes. Change. Yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this, got stuff done. Thank you as always for painting along with me and listening to my rant and getting stuff done as well. So thank you very much. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting. Me.